Hello everyone, my name's Bottletophornet, and welcome back to another episode of Vault Hunters. 1 second. So, welcome back in. In today's episode, we are going to do a little bit of work with the Create mod. And so I've cleared out this little area here that I want to use to make up some machinery. We're going to put a windmill on the side of here, build up a little bit of stuff inside of it, and then probably bring some of that power down low here to make up a little bit of a machine to create this weathered limestone. So, I do have a couple of things set up here. Some crushing wheels, a windmill bearing, a bunch of sails, some fans and bits and pieces. But one thing that I think I want to do is make a heavy investment right off the bat. So this rotational speed controller allows me to speed up the rotational force from, say, a very slow or a big windmill that's not necessarily pumping out a lot of speed without having to use a bunch of cogwheels or use these adjustable chain gear shifts to speed up the power that I've got coming through. And it is expensive. It requires 2 echo gems, a pog, and also this blaze cake, which requires some lava being put into a blaze cake base. But I already have this thing here, and it shouldn't be too hard for me to create one of these, a basin. Yeah, very easy. So we're going to do that. I might be able to do this by hand to start off with. I'm going to have to also make myself a spout, which once again is not that difficult. Copper casing, it's a little bit of work, but we'll get there. So let me go through. Oh, damn, there is just some darkness up there. But let me go through, make up some of that copper casing, all the stuff that we need. We might smash out, no pun intended, a little bit of a blaze cake, and the rest. Ooh, copper casing is also expensive. It requires brass casing, which requires a pog and some brass. We've got some work to do. But at the end of the day, I think it will be worth it to have, and we can use this section here for a bunch of different things over time. Also, I just kind of want to be able to say that I've made it. So let's grab some things, set it all up, and see what we can get made. All right, I have a couple of things set up. I've got myself 2 pogs. I made myself a mechanical mixer because we're going to need to mix some ores together to make ourselves this brass. And I'm going to see, I don't know, but I'm going to see if I can make it happen with a hand crank. Its capacity is quite small, but we might still be able to make it work. So I'm going to need to break down these ores. To do so, I think I'm also going to have to make something a little bit fancy. So, a wrench. Oh, it looks like they might have changed the recipe cost for that because previously it required an echo gem or 2 echo gems, but it looks like now we can just use unique gems, which is lovely. And I'm also going to have to make a little bit of gold into some pancaked gold. So, quite easily, I can just do this. We chuck a hand crank on there, and I can hold down my right click, and if I put some gold underneath here... Oh, that was a little bit weird. We can do this, and each time it comes down, it will turn that into a flat piece. Like these, into the sheets. Now you can see that goes a little bit slow. So my idea here is that if I use the cogwheels, I may be able to put that on there, and let's see whether that speeds up the process. Ooh, overstressed. Okay. So this is where things are going to be difficult. I might not be able to do this just yet without my windmill set up. So it looks like the preparation work that we have to do to get this rotational speed controller done is going to require a room up there. So let's do that. Thankfully, I have these elevator blocks. So if we just pop up here, let's work out where we want to set it up. I think probably on the outside edge so that there is nothing in the way, but maybe a little bit closer to, let's get it perfect. maybe a little bit closer. So let's work something out. I think what we'll do instead is create a little bit of a sticky outy bit like this. And then we'll build some mechanical looking stuff. Oh man, I'm going to have to light up this this forest down here. We'll build some mechanical looking stuff off the side of this building to show that it is being held out here. So with a bit of luck, not quite. Let's do this. We can utilize the fact that if I press K, it holds things and puts things down in that direction. And there we go. Perfect. So there are a few ways that I could put together a windmill. I think for starters, I'm just going to do it very simply and not decorate it because I'm more interested in getting the power first. But if I show you guys here, essentially what I can do is add, actually I probably want to do that from the other side. Add sails like this. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And with a bit of luck, we can get something looking a little bit like a windmill. The biggest problem though is going to be getting underneath there and being able to rotate the things in the right direction. So let's make ourselves that special wrench. We'll head back home. I know that I have a decent supply of some of these left. In fact, the sparkletine is probably my best bet. As you can see, making up those other 2 pogs that I'm going to need here did start to bring us back down a bit. So we're going to grab that sparkletine and that will be what creates our special tool. Also, I did just make enough of those sheets. So one of these here, we need some sticks and we can make ourselves the wrench. What the wrench allows you to do is shift and right click to pick stuff up directly into your inventory that is being used by this mod pack. We'll just put those away in there. Plus it allows you to change the rotation of things. So for example, if I can, there we go, gain access to an edge of it, I can rotate that around and around until it's in the right spot. I can also change the way that this rotates. I don't know whether you can quite see that there. Oh, here we go. But I can change the direction that that spins so that it looks like it's spinning the correct way, or to change the direction that the rotational force is coming through if I need it one way or another. So let me see if I can get something like this, but as you can see from this side now, I can rotate it around and get it going the right way. I'm very glad that they decided to change the recipe for that. If you are curious, they've just updated to 1.3.1, I believe, is the new update for Vault Hunters, where they've changed a few things and added in the final vault. So that's what I'm playing on right now. There we go. Let me see if I can get this set up, and then we should be able to turn it on. Oh, and also make sure you put it on the block that you've put in front of the bearing. So if I right click this with an empty hand, there we go. We've got ourselves a running windmill. Let's just jump down here and have a look. Beautiful. Now we can make that prettier down the line. There are a lot of different ways that you can put together a windmill. I'm doing it this way because I like the idea of it looking more like a traditional windmill, but you can do it in vertical ways. You can do a bunch of different configurations to get your rotational power. For now though, that'll do. The more of the sails you put on, or the more of these white sails, the faster it will rotate, but this should be more than enough for now. To be able to see the rotation speed, we might actually make ourselves some goggles. So we are going to need one more piece of gold flattened out, which means manually cranking this again. Oh, might have to, there we go. And we'll make a couple more just in case we need it later. Oh, give those back. But there we go. And we need a little bit of glass and a little bit of string. Do I have either of those here? I do have string. Let's get some glass. So let's make these. And what these can do is be put into your head slot there, and it allows you to see different information about the machines that you're working on. Now, do I have the stuff that I need here to make some super glue? Because super glue could be helpful down the line. I do. I got some slime. We'll take that with us. All right, let's put that away for now. So if we jump up here now that we have the goggles on, when I look at this, you can see that it can handle 2048 stress units at its current speed. Now, the stress units is how much stress can be applied to the overall machine that is being powered by this. So before, when I tried to crank the hand shaft, there wasn't enough stress being provided by that hand shaft to be able to power such a large machine. So as you can see, it can only handle a very, very small amount of stress. And anything over that is going to probably cause it to overstress. Oh, I did not know that you could sneak and hold to rotate in a different direction. Good to know. But for what we're planning to do, we are going to need a lot more than just a hand crank can handle. So I think I'm going to carve out a little room up in the top there to make some of our initial bits and pieces that we need. And then from there, I'm going to make a cobblestone generator inside here and then transfer the power from this down low. And I want to build our machine that is going to turn that cobblestone into limestone on this platform. So let me dig out some space. Yeah, I've got what I need. We also have these elevator blocks. So once I've got that space dug out, we're going to be able to get up and down super, super easily. There we go. So now we have a little spot behind this with some room to hopefully put together what we need. Now, what I'm going to do here is actually make my way down in this spot. Let's see where this ends up taking us. Oh, some copper, but it's not from the type that we need. I need to see where I am. Hold on. Ah, a little bit low. That's fine. So what I can do here now is put down one of my elevator blocks. So if I put one of these here, and then we go back up top to our little spot, as long as they are in line and there is nothing in between that's going to stop them, I can stand on it, press shift, and I'm down below. Then I press space, and I'm up top again. So, very convenient. That's going to allow me to get up and down to there very quickly, and we have 6 more. That is found in one of the rarer versions of the Wild West rooms that has a train in it. Up on one of the walls, there is a picture or a little mural of a UFO, and the UFO is made out of these lime elevators. So very handy to grab if you are in the vaults yourself. For now, I'm going to come up here and we're going to grab the power out of this and do some initial setup in this room. Then we'll tear all that down, turn this room into our cobblestone generator, and hopefully get ourselves some limestone in the end. Oh my. I just checked the shop and I have enough for that. Wasn't even meant to be recording, but yeah, we might quickly buy that. Oh, a POG for 636 too? Wow. Maybe I should be running some vaults. But I can't. We need to get some progress done over here. I am going to put those diamonds away though. That'll be good for going towards our next knowledge star. Beautiful. So, I've got myself a setup here where I can grab the power or the rotational force from that, and I can slowly speed this up using one of the most simple techniques, which is going from a large to a small. That small then spins this larger one, and the next time I put a small one on here, it's going to go even faster again. So you can stack this quite a few different ways. There are also other ways to do it using chain drives and adjustable chain gear shifts, but for now I'm just going to be putting together temporary stuff, and I want to set up some crushing wheels so that we can get our copper and zinc that we have over in here crushed down and ready to smelt. And so I'm going to want to set those up, spinning in opposite directions as well. The left one here needs to spin in towards the right, and the right one here needs to spin in counterclockwise to the middle. And then you just throw the stuff inside and it works. So let me set up some basic gears. I'm probably going to have to make a couple of more small ones so that I have enough available. And we'll see whether we can get this process started. There's a lot I need to do, so I may skip over some things because I've got to crush down this copper to turn it into copper ingots, and the same with the zinc ingots. We also need to smelt that up, which I'm probably going to do using this system where I blow a fan through some lava and that'll just smelt it directly. Ooh, I don't need to crush it. I can just smelt it directly. Lucky I checked that. Huh. Okay. New plan. Let's grab the fans that we have. We've got 2 of them here. and a little bit of lava. And I just need to make up some more of these. There we go. Let's try that out. So what I want to try and do here is see whether or not I can get this to flow directly downwards. Beautiful. If we put a fan... Oh, no, not beautiful. Let me try that one again. How about this? Good. It stayed. So if we put a fan just here and turn it on using some rotational force, it's going to blow some heat out of it, and you can use that for smelting. If you want to use stuff for smoking, you can put a fire in front of it using some netherrack, and it will smoke the items as well. So let's see whether we can make this happen a little bit quickly. We're going to also have to make sure that it rotates the right direction. So for starters, we can check and see if we can get it working. Let's put that one down there, and maybe we just hook that up. Now, it looks like that is blowing the correct direction. Good. So it's blowing it out, and now I should be able to just grab this copper ore, throw it down in front of there, and you'll see those particles coming off of it. We can set up a nicer system eventually to do this, but over time, depending on how fast that is blowing, this will cook that entire stack into copper. I hope. There we go. And just like that, we have 36 copper ingots. We can do the same thing with the zinc, give it a little bit of time, and there we go. Timed that perfectly. So, that is a very, very quick way to cook up a bunch of items. I think I can do it with stuff like stone as well. That should turn into smooth stone within a very short amount of time. There we go. Look at that. And the faster you spin this, the quicker it goes. Very good. And also, you can see that that is using 64 stress units with the current setup of the 2,000 and something that can output. So a windmill is a really good way to get a lot of power that you can use up in a bunch of different machines. Cool. Now what I need to do is create some brass, because we're going to be using brass casings in this, which is very expensive. And the brass is made by combining the copper and the zinc inside of this system here, a basin, using a mixing wheel, and we also need to heat it with a blaze burner. So this we can make with just some iron bars and some iron sheets, but it does mean I got to go capture a blaze from the nether, which is very simple now that we have fire resistance permanently. In fact, I could probably stand in this with no worries, or the lava even, which is very, very handy when it comes to using these machines. So let me go grab a blaze, rejig this, we're going to change it around, and we're going to set up a mixing station, which I already have the mixer made and ready. Then, once we have a little bit of copper set up, I think we should have all that we need to get this whole setup going and finally make some progress. So, I'm going to do a little bit of a cut here to when I've got a lot of this stuff prepared, and then we'll work on a cobblestone generator. Yeah. And there we go. Whew. A little bit of work there to work out how to do all of that. I had to make a bunch of different things like these fluid tanks and the spouts and all sorts of bits and pieces. But at the end of the day, it does mean that we have all of these ready for, say, making a potion brewing station and everything like that down the line. So I am glad that we've got all of this now, and let me see what this can truly do. So you'll notice that a lot of this is increasing the speed of that. Now we got that up to a fair speed there. In fact, maybe we'll create a speedometer. We just need some andesite casings and a compass. Pretty easy to make. Make ourselves a compass real quick. And there we go. So what I can do with this, maybe not that direction properly, but if we put that down there, we can see that this one here is spinning at 8 RPM. If we come down here, that's spinning at 4. So essentially what I've done is I've doubled the speed of it by converting from a large cogwheel into a smaller one, and that smaller one is now working at 8, and it's attached to this big one. That should mean that this one here is going at 16. Exactly. If we come all the way over to here, after all of that work, I've managed to get this running at 128. So that is quite fast and allows things to happen very quickly, but it does increase the stress on the system. So that's something that we have to keep in mind overall. But now, what I should be able to do is this, grab this rotation speed controller, which is going to be very handy as we go forward. And I can just, in fact, let me get a little bit lower. As you can see there, I can increase or decrease the speed by scrolling. So I can go all the way down to 1, which is extremely slow, but it allows you to create a lot of power. So if something needed a ridiculous amount, then we would do that. But we can scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. Actually, how fast does this go? All the way up to 256. So now that allows us to really create some speed. So when it comes to doing stuff like this, that will use the full 2048 stress units that this over here is capable of right now. Let's see whether we can get on top of that. So that, with this amount of sales, is putting out exactly 2048 stress units. So we're right on the edge of that. But it means that, say we wanted to make some more of these plates or these iron ingots into this iron sheeting, it's incredibly fast. So being able to do that and scroll that down, if we put that down to 64, you'll see it's a lot slower, but it only uses 512 stress units. So I'm going to be doing a lot of math that hopefully you guys don't have to worry about. And I'm going to be throwing together a bunch of machines that are going to allow us to do a bunch of different stuff. Let's scroll that right back up to 256 again. Let it go through that whole stack because I'm sure we'll use these in the future. There we go. And now I can use this machine here to set up my whole system all around the place. Let's just scroll that down a bit because it doesn't need to be that fast. Now, these crushing wheels require a lot of rotational force. So for example, if we just clear out a little space here and put this crushing wheel on there, at 64 RPM, we would only be able to have 4 of them before we overstressed that. Now, what I might have to do is make our windmill a lot bigger. But at the same time, if I scroll that down to 32, we should be able to handle 8. So I'm going to be fiddling around, working out how I want it all set up. I might increase the size of this so that we get more rotational power. In fact, how about we just go and prove that right now? I'm going to take that off there, but I should be able to right-click that to shut it down, and I'm just going to add another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on each one, because this is the maximum that I have right now. An extra 7 on each one will make it so that... let me see. Ah, not the right way. But it will make it... come on. Let's see if I can get this one in here. Nope. Hold on. Like so. And with that, when I turn this back on, you can see that I've actually doubled the amount of stress units that I can handle. Now, I don't know whether I like the look of that. It's not too bad, but I think we will pretty it up down the line. There are a bunch of different ways that we can do that. For now, it will have to do, because this is going to need to be running for a while to create the amount of stuff that we need. But down the line, we can adjust the system and the setup that we have to create whatever we want. Create. Get it? So what I think I'm going to do, because this is going to be a lot of work, and if I try and explain and go through everything at the same time, it's going to be a 2-hour-long episode. I'm going to go about using this that I've gained and this system that I've set up to generate cobblestone, then turn that cobblestone with the crushing wheels here into gravel, sand. That sand then turns into lime sand, and we can use the cooking system that I showed you guys before to cook the lime sand into limestone. And then we do the same thing, but instead of lava, we put water in front of the fan, and that will finally turn it into weathered limestone. So I'm going to montage that up with a bit of music. I'm going to get it all done, and then we can pop back in at the end, and I'll show you the process from start to finish, hopefully with a quite complicated but really awesome looking design. And then that machine will provide us with all of the weathered limestone that we need to make a pyramid, and much more beyond. So I hope you guys enjoyed this montage, and I'll see you on the other side. Yeah, look at that in the distance. I like it. Okay, montage time. And I think I'm done. I think I have a fully functioning machine and build. So I've done a lot of detailing and started to work out my kind of block palette, my kind of design that I want this whole build to be. So everything that we work on as far as the temple here or the pyramid and all other buildings around, as well as blending into these towers, I think we're going to go for something like this. So let's get a little bit more height, and there you go. You can kind of see we've got the windmills, we've got trying to keep things, I guess, kind of matching in a little bit with the existing landscape. Oops, I pressed F instead of my zoom button. But if we come up here, it's actually a good way to transition into this. We have ourselves a really nice cobblestone generator. So the beauty of this is using this device here, a pulse repeater. When this block comes over here, it will activate it, but it will only pulse in front of it once, which means that when it does pulse, the pistons underneath will fire once and come back. And I just put a repeater here to stop them firing too quickly and leaving the stuff behind. So down here, I have these quark rods. And what happens is when they interact with a block, they will instantly break it. They're made with 2 pieces of iron and a end rod. and they make it super, super easy to create a cobblestone generator. The other thing that I've got is this. This is something from Create. It's called a redstone link. It allows me to wirelessly transfer a redstone signal up to 128 blocks away, and I can also program it to a frequency so that I can have multiple in the same area interacting with different ones without overlapping. So what I've done there is I've made it so that I can turn this on from down below here. So let's just quickly sleep, because good lord, that's a lot of mobs. Quickly, thank you. But as you can see here, I've also got this one, which is also set up to the same frequency, and that means that when I turn this off, we should up here begin to produce a lot of cobblestone. So it produces 5 every time, gets directly picked up by those hoppers, and then I use this to make it just drop. So I don't have to set up a dropper system or anything like that. It will just automatically drop out. And that goes down the side of this pillar into this chute here. So you can see it popping out the bottom. So that flows down through there. Then it goes through 3 stages. You'll see that in a second. The cobblestone will get sucked up into this one and get turned into gravel. Then the gravel will directly drop into this next one and get turned into sand, which you see there. Occasionally there's a byproduct, but I'm just not worried about those for now. And then eventually that sand gets turned into lime sand and gets picked up by this little device over here. So I will probably set up a bit of a hopper here to collect the leftovers, but that's okay. Give it a second. So we have a smart chute here, which will pick up items through this belt, and it is filtered for the sand itself. And then that sand drops directly in front of, I hope this is easy to see, it drops directly in front of that lava and gets blown over to another smart chute that will only filter through limestone. So it waits until that lava cooks the sand into the limestone itself, and then it allows it to pass through. That will then come, travel under a water line over here, get shot up into the water that this is blowing through. And as you can see, it will sit in front of this chute here, this brass one, which can pick up to a stack at once. And once it gets weathered down, we should see that number increase. There we go. Beautiful. Can we get over 6,000? And, oh, not quite. But essentially this will just continue to run. Now there is a little bit of stuff going through that probably slows it down a little bit. This stuff here going through, but I think it just gets broken down into nothing. I'll pass through, actually. Not sure. But either way, I'll probably set up just a little collection system that we can have a little barrel or something down there picking up the bone meal, and I can just leave this running until I have as much as I need. So it's decently fast. It's about as fast as this up here is, which makes 5 every, hold on, let me count it out. 1 and 2 and 3 and like 3.5, 4 seconds, which means if we just said 5, just to be safe, we would be making 12 times 5 is 60, basically a stack a minute. That's not too bad. It's probably slightly faster than that, so I would say that this comfortably provides us a stack per minute, and it should keep running even when we're over there building. So I can turn this on. I've added a storage upgrade to that so we can get 16 times the base value of 2,048, which means we can have a little over 32,000, nearly 33,000 in this barrel here, or in this drawer. So I think we're pretty set. And what do you guys think of this? This kind of aesthetic, the overgrown, oh, I keep pressing F instead of C to zoom, the overgrown look with the mechanical aspect of things. And I like the idea of some of it being more overgrown than others. I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. And I'm actually a big fan of, it's kind of a pun, but I'm a big fan of that big fan. The windmill there, it is particularly large because I wanted to make sure I had enough power. I could probably technically turn it down or make it a little bit smaller if I wanted to, but I think we'll leave that like that for now. And this can be our initial setup place. We can still see all the mechanisms going from a distance, but once I get a certain distance away, there we go. It all does disappear, so it will look a little bit strange, which means that I do have to focus on still trying to make things look as decent as possible from a distance without all of those rendered in. But as you can see over here, this will just keep chugging away. Honestly, I'm pretty happy with it. I think it's fairly compact, all things considered. I could have obviously made things a lot smaller if I put it all together, but compact in the way that the build works, and then this whole section here, from the top of those wheels down to here, is pretty compact to go from cobblestone to gravel, gravel to sand, sand to lime sand to limestone getting cooked, and the limestone comes up through here. We'll see that shoot down in just a moment. There we go. And it gets put in front of that until the drawer can accept it. Now you can use these here, these brass funnels with a filter, but because it's attached to a drawer and the drawer can only take one item at a time, it's going to automatically be filtered anyway. And that means that it'll just sit in front, won't be sucked up until it is something that the drawer can handle. It's kind of good. I'm actually blown away by myself. I've managed to come up with an idea after not much experience with this, and I've made this happen. Yeah, I'm pretty proud of myself. And on the other side of that, we also have a bunch of stuff now that I've built that can be used for other contraptions. So I've got pumps, I've got fluid containers, an extra smart chute, I've got spouts, drains, all sorts of stuff. These are going to be very useful for creating more machines and more farms and things that I want to build. So I'm kind of really proud of myself. Really proud of myself. Yeah. And I'd really want to hear what you guys think. I really want to know what you guys think of the aesthetic. Whether you think this is going to be cool for the entire build. Oh, hello friends. As in this whole thing here, really looking like an ancient, what would you call it? Temple, civilization, something or other that I like to think maybe we've discovered and we're firing up the old machines again. I really like that feeling of old machinery rediscovered, if that makes sense. Like, it looks like this was maybe set up, maybe we cleaned up all the gears and installed a new belt or two, made sure it was all up and running, but it wasn't worth it to clean up the rest of the building, so we've just got it functioning again. It's kind of a cool idea, even though obviously we're building it from scratch. Man, this is actually making a lot of bone meal. I really need to set up a collection for that, because that can probably be used in more farms with Create. With a bit of luck, we can use some different things to create tree farms and all sorts of fun stuff. And I do believe we've still got quite a bit of power left from that windmill. So I can actually convert this speedometer into a stressometer. And the network is at 84%. So I only actually have 640 remaining, which means that it's very lucky that I did make it that large. The biggest thing is making it run at this speed. These guys here do use up a lot of stress. So 512 each, that eats up into the whole thing. What we could potentially do here is just make it a little bit faster. Let's see if we can get it running at like 100% efficiency. Nope. It ticked over to 48. I can't do an in between those two. And it instantly stressed the whole system out. So, turns out, I accidentally made it perfectly first try. I mean, definitely on purpose. Definitely made that on purpose first try. Yes. And now, yeah, it's decently fast. Especially if I spent like an hour or something building something else, doing some decoration, have this running, because I haven't really had it running while I was working on it. I did grab all of the limestone that we had spare over there and put it through just here so that it would fill up. You would have seen that in the montage. I don't know, I feel like I'm just raving about it now, but I'm really proud of it. Also, for some reason, at the top right of the screen, that crafting recipe thing will just not go away. I probably need to log in and log back out. Log back out and log back in, I mean. Although I may be still holding the light, so it might make the same mistake once again. And yep, it's popped up because they're in my inventory. Something about these lights just makes that happen. Oh, it went away. Ha ha ha. Very good. That's much better. And then if we want this whole system to turn off, that's it. It is all reliant upon the cobblestone generator, and it won't make anything else unless the cobblestone is coming through the top. So it can run its final course here, push out a little bit of that stuff at the end. See that go through. And then a little bit of that come through. But all of this turning stuff will just stay. It'll just sit here turning. Now, eventually that may cause a little bit of lag, but as long as we're smart about it and don't just spam stuff everywhere and make a smart system like this, it should be all right. I'm really excited to use this throughout the base and have this style of aesthetic. And I'd love to hear what you guys think. I really would. I hope you like it. I hope you think it looks cool. That's going to stay there forever now. I can feel it. We're going to put some light around here. There we go. Oh, it went away. Yes. It must only be when it's in my inventory. It is. Good to know. But with that, I am going to leave it there. I think we've achieved what we wanted to in this episode. I'll probably set up a little collection system for the bone meal over there. But at the end of the day, it's working. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, please do me a favor and leave a like. It really does help a lot, and it shows YouTube that you guys enjoy my content, and it helps push it out to more people, which is super helpful. I'm really, really loving this series. I'm loving working with the modded stuff. It's just so much fun. I'd like to thank my Patreon supporters for your support. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. And to everybody else, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you're looking forward to more. We're going to continue to build in this area. We might work on the pyramid next episode once I've built up a little bit of this. And yeah, on to bigger and better things. This is just the start. It's a way for us to get what we need to move forward. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye. I'm going to say thank you very much for watching, and I hope you guys take care of yourself until the next one. Until then, I'll catch you later. Bye-bye, everyone. Whoop!